Fire Escape Academy Inspector Training Videos. We're here in Lakewood, New Jersey. Here we are looking at a fire escape that is on the side of a, looks like a daycare center. And we've got several issues on the fire escape. When you're writing violations, a couple of things that you want to look for, even from this distance here. I'll get closer and show you a couple more things, but right now, must be structurally sound, must be kept painted. The easiest violation to write on any fire escape is the paint violation. Does it have more paint than rust or more rust than paint? And on this fire escape, even though it's got a little hue of green, this fire escape has been kept painted. So that means that there is no paint violation on this particular fire escape. Now, from this distance, though, you're looking at the fire escapes, and there's something you can see from this far away. And that is, the law requires that all fire escapes be routinely maintained for the lifetime of the structure. And that means that minimally what you're supposed to see on these fire escapes is that some of the major structural bolts have been changed out. Now, when this fire escape was made, it was made with original square head bolts that are 50 to 75 years old or older by today. And those bolts are no longer verifiable or no longer reliable, but yet they're still on this fire escape. And if I was to give the go-ahead on a load test, I too would have to rely on some of these bolts to basically withstand a load test, and there's just no way to verify every one of these connections. So, minimally on a fire escape of this type, even though I came to it, I would have to fail it immediately for lack of maintenance. Meaning, even though the fire escape has been kept painted, which this one seems to have been, there's an evidence that nobody's been maintaining this fire escape ever in the lifetime of the building. Meaning, I would expect to see the staircases, every one of those bolts on the staircases with new hex head bolts, because that's what you expect to see in 50 to 75 years. So these treads and those treads and those treads should have new hex head bolts, and we'll from here we can identify nothing but square head original 50 to 75-year-old bolts. The superstructure, what holds this thing up in the air, should have should have new hex head bolts, or be at least reinforced. And from here I can see that all the legs to the ground have original square head bolts. The supports into the ground are supposed to be on cement slabs, but due to recent landscaping, whatever the case is, they look like they're just buried in the dirt. The problem is that even though if we identify foundations underneath there, the dirt is eating the steel. So minimally we got to extend the foundations to above 4 inches above grade, so that the steel doesn't rot in the dirt, which is happening right now. Supports. Some of these supports are lag bolted or through bolted into the building. We need to verify that, and any framing and railing supports need to be verified that they're in good condition. So structurally, the major structural connections are supports that hold the platforms, rail posts that hold the rails, and stair treads and stair connections that hold the staircases. So let's go see up close to see what we have here. And what we have here is all original hardware. See the original hardware? Original square bolts, original square heads, all the treads, original square heads, all original square heads. And then when you start looking, then you start really identifying where the rust grows. See, rust growth. If you look, see all that rust growth right there? A rust growth. Treads going up, you start seeing rust growing behind them. So all these original connections, look, a popped bolt, eaten. That's all original hardware, eaten. So, and then cement, all the dirt around this eating the steel. Rivets, screws, look at all the rust buildup on that tread. Look at all that rust. All that rust. This is a daycare center. All original hardware that's letting these kids get out. It's treads buried in dirt, rotting away. Connections underneath, through bolted. See the through bolt back here? How you doing? See the through bolt right here, and the original connections here. Rust on the connection here. So all these things need to be addressed when you're re-inspecting or when you are reinforcing a fire escape so that it doesn't drop in any way. And up there also the same thing. You've got some original hardware and rust clearly visible from down below. Any questions, give us a call here at Fire Escape Academy, Inspector Training, 800-649-3333, 800-649-3333. Ask for Inspector Manette.